Hey everyone, and welcome to week 3 of Celiac Disease Awareness Month. I know I should have had this video posted a few days ago, but I was called into work, so didn't have time. But I did record it, and it just didn't turn out the way I wanted. However, this is take 2 pretty much. I really wanted to talk about cross-contamination today. And cross-contamination is when you use the same surfaces for gluten-free foods as you do for gluten-filled foods. And in my house particular, one of the things that we have separate is a toaster for me. Since I can't use the toaster oven because it's very contaminated with breadcrumbs, so we have a designated toaster for just myself and my gluten-free bread, which I'm going to show you. And it's, one of those things that you have to really be careful about, because that can send you over the edge on the sick category. And at times when I've been cross-contaminated, I would not feel well for a week, which is not fun. But say you invite me over to your house and you're going to cook me a gluten-free dinner or lunch or whatever. The certain precautions to take for any celiac individual that you're cooking for is to make sure your pots and pans are clean, or the utensils you're using, make sure it's all clean, and make sure the food's gluten-free. But also to make sure that you don't touch anything gluten-filled and then touch a sandwich that you're making, or to not have some flour and take it over the gluten-free food. That's not good to do. Say for spaghetti, don't use the same strainer or don't use the same water. Simple things, just general knowledge of how to be safe. So that's really kind of a cross-contamination overview. Now I'm going to show you some of the gluten-free food that I have ate the past 6 months. We're going to start with my bread, Uddies. And this stuff is pretty good. It's the best I've had so far, but it's really a rough texture. That's how gluten-free food is. It's a rough texture. And you have to keep it frozen because it will spoil because there's no preservative in it. Next is some noodles. These are the noodles I tend to buy. They're made with brown rice pasta. And rice flour is a general ingredient in all of the products that are gluten-free. But they're pretty good. Sometimes they can get really mushy. They don't really taste that different compared to regular noodles from what I can remember of what a regular noodle tastes like. Next is Bisquick, gluten-free. Use this to make biscuits, pancakes, waffles, about anything and everything. And something that's really important to look for is Celiac Disease Foundation symbol. And as you see, it says made in a gluten-free processing facility, which is very important. So Bisquick has a lot of things that you can eat and make with that mixture that they have, and you probably see it in your stores wherever you may live. Next is an all-purpose flour, Bob's Red Mill. That's a brand I use a lot now, and it's pretty good. It's just kind of a general flour in case I need a flour in a recipe. That's what I tend to use. Next up is my favorite thing ever. It is pizza crust. This stuff is amazing, and I dare you to let me make you a gluten-free pizza if you don't believe me. It's very, it has a different texture, obviously all the gluten-free food does, but it's the most Italian, good tasting mix for pizza making, and it's really good. So if you want me to make you a gluten-free pizza, first of all I'll have to bring my designated pizza pan and my cutter, but this is the kind I would probably use if I was making you a pizza, a gluten-free pizza. It's really good. So even if you're not gluten-free and you want to try it, you can find Ingles and Whole Foods and Earth Fare and all those kinds of stores. Next up is the rolled oats. One's a good by Red Mill. As you can see, I use them a lot. Oatmeal is not safe because it could be processed in a place that processes wheat, and so that's why I have to buy special oats. But it's really good for an oatmeal, or I mean, I bet you could like use it as like a coating of a sort for like bread or something, or like chicken. Next is, many people may not know you have to be careful of soup, and I've yet to make a gluten-free soup because I'm not a really good soup maker. But you have to use boilong cubes. This is chicken flavored, but you have to be careful with soups, which I did not know until I went on a gluten-free diet. I would have never guessed, but flour is the thickening agent, so it's in tomato soup, potato soup. It doesn't tend to be in the vegetable soups, but you have to read the label. Next up is cookie mix. This stuff is by Betty Crocker, obviously, and they make cakes and brownies, which are all really good. And once again, Celiac Disease Foundation, which is good. And they're pretty good. My brother-in-law, he tends to like my gluten-free cookies over his Pillsbury, so that's a pretty cool thing. And I tend to not make them often, try not to at least. I love my sweets. If you know me, you know I love chocolate. So I'll tend to make like little bite-sized cookies, and I'll put them in the freezer. And anytime I get a sweet tooth, I'll take one or two out, heat up in the microwave, and enjoy a nice gluten-free cookie every once in a while. So that's very nice to have on hand. And just for like any parties or anything, I used Betty Crocker for my first gluten-free birthday cake, which was pretty good. It doesn't rise as high as a normal cake, but what can you expect? Next is barbecue sauce, which I'm from the South, so I love barbecue and I love barbecue sauce, and I really miss eating at Barbecue Wagon in my hometown. But this is Stubbs, and you probably see this in your supermarkets. And as you see, we label it gluten-free in our fridge so that nobody uses it unless they're cooking for me or I'm eating. And it's also gluten-free certified, has a gluten-free symbol. But that's also a good, important symbol to look for. Now, I never thought barbecue sauce would be off limits, ever, in my life. And I actually didn't get this till recently. So I've been very barbecue deprived for the past 6 months of my life. But it's pretty good, and anybody can buy it. But it's just one for us gluten-free individuals, which is really cool. Next up is salad dressing. I know it's one of those things that you wouldn't think would have gluten in it, but flour is a thickener. So I use Wishbone. All of the salad dressing in our fridge is Wishbone because it is gluten-free. And Kraft says that they'll label any allergens, but I just, if you don't label it before, like, I'd rather support the brands that label. In regards to lunch meat, Hormel is the only brand I'll buy. Natural choice you can get in your grocery stores because they'll label because it's natural. So lunch meats is limited. So anytime I want lunch meat, I have to get Hormel, which isn't often. And what else? Pretty much like you have to look at every single label. And I tend to research a lot of the products before I buy them in the grocery store. Thank God for the iPhone because I look up every single thing I buy. So that's kind of a brief overview of the food I've been eating, a few of the products I use, and I seriously challenge you to make you a gluten-free pizza because it'll be delicious. I had some questions sent in from Leah McGrath, who is the nutritionist for Ingles Supermarkets, which is the only place I shop unless I'm going to Earth Fare or Whole Foods or something like that. But Ingles is the only place I will go grocery shopping at in the South. And she asks if there's any products and foods that I wish were gluten-free. Honestly, I wish everything was gluten-free so I didn't have to worry or anything. However, I really, really miss fried chicken. It's just one of those things, like, I would kill for like a piece of fried chicken every once in a while, and I can eat it. And every time we try to make it, it doesn't turn out good at all. So it's kind of one of those things that I wish was gluten-free, and probably bagels or donuts. I mean, there is gluten-free bagels, there's gluten-free donuts, which I haven't tried, but you know, when you go into like a Krispy Kreme or Dunkin' Donuts, you're like, oh god, donuts smell so good right now. Kill. That's kind of like the saying, like, I would give my left leg for a donut or a piece of pizza when I smell one. Kind of as a joke that I have to make people laugh, I guess. So that's just one of the things. I mean, it's just, obviously, gluten-filled food's an inconvenience, and my life is kind of inconvenient at times, which leads me into my next question by Tiffany Dillard. She asked if there's any like lifestyle challenges I have, which physically, health-wise, no, unless I get sick. Then my life is kind of a challenge for a few days. But I would probably say going out to eat is probably the biggest challenge that I do have, and it's mainly because it's someone else preparing my food. It's not me, and it's very nerve-wracking because you know, I have it down to a T. Like, if I get sick, it's within 20 minutes if it's really bad, and if it's in 3 hours, if it's kind of a cross-contamination thing. And, you know, it's to constantly be worried like that while you're trying to have fun and chill with your friends is a drag, to be honest. It's a drag. And I hate how my diet revolves around where we eat. I feel like it's such an inconvenience to the ones I love, and it's hard because I don't like being in pain or anything like that. But it beats me being in pain because I'm really mean and irritable, and I don't want to talk to anybody when I'm sick. So that's just probably the biggest lifestyle challenge that I have personally. And it's because I am new still, and there's still frustrating things. There's still things I'm learning. I mean, I'm constantly learning, and every day I constantly have to plan out my food for the day and what's safe. And, you know, my family's taken on a big toll, like having separate condiment jars, separate butters, separate mayonnaise. We try to get stuff in the squeezable too, because that's easiest. But, you know, it's a big thing. You know, it's not just a diet, it's a disease, and you have to go on a gluten-free diet to treat that disease, and it's difficult, but it is doable, obviously, by all the foods I showed you. So that is this week's episode. I'm sorry it's late. I'm sorry it was not exactly perfect. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned some stuff. Feel free to Google the products I use. Feel free to try them. And send in your questions for next week's video. I'm hoping to have my mom be interviewed, so please send in some questions to ask my mother personally. And until next time, hope you guys have a fabulous week.